Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Nelson, you're watching Nature Nell, and if you're new to my channel, you're in for a treat. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of great stuff coming up ahead, like this episode today, which is spraying fungicide. I can't stress enough how important it is to spray your plants, whether you do it organically or chemically. It is important when you live in a tropical climate the way I do, and you keep your orchids outside. As you can see, I am like in a greenhouse out here, so it's always moist, and you need to spray for preventive. So what I use for preventive is Physan 20, and I will show you later on as I prep everything in the back. I will show you what I use as a preventive. There's stronger stuff that I've used before, but I use those once in a blue moon in case of like an extreme need. But Physan 20 is my go-to for fungicide, and it's simple, it's soapy, it doesn't smell bad, it's not as toxic as other chemicals out there, and very easy to use. So without further ado, before I melt away in here, let's go get everything ready and start spraying. All right, guys, so we're gonna start by first watering the plants. So before you do any fungicide, you wanna first water your plants, okay? I'm gonna show you now in a second how quickly I water it, but just showing you here what I use. I use Physan 20. I use 2 teaspoons per gallon, gloves necessary, and I use the 2-gallon sprayer. Now, I know a lot of people like to use the adapter to the hose, but with this, I have more control. And I don't want to hit any flowers or anything like that with my Physan 20 because I have damaged flowers in the past. So with this, I can control the pressure of the stream, and I can control the amount that I want going out. So I would highly suggest, if you have a small area, get these for more control. But if you have like a big space, like if you're doing it overall in a yard, then get the adapter that like Blanca uses. That one's really good if you're doing in mass like that. But in my greenhouse, I actually like to use this. I haven't gotten one of those adapters yet. I may get it for the vandas that are hanging, but for the greenhouse, I like to use this only because there's so many blooms, and I have damaged it in the past, like my Grecum. I spotted it with Physan 20. So be careful when you're spraying your plants with fungicide and it's in bloom. All right. So I just wanted to show you this before I started watering. Now let's go here. And I get one of these. I actually just got this at Aldi's. And the reason I like it is because you can adjust the pressure of the hose. So you never want to like beat your plants up, you know, especially if they have flowers like this. You do something like very lightly over it like this, and it's gentle, it won't hurt it. So basically, it's just as simple. I water everything this way. I normally, by the way, wait, I have to pay attention. I've never done this before. All right, I normally water like this. I'll go here and I'll do this, all right? I water like that. So I try not to hit the leaves because that avoids a lot of, you know, fungicide, fungus growing on there, or any other damage to the leaves that could be caused by sitting water. So for me, I like to just hit them low down here by the root, and that's more than enough. You don't need to wet the whole plant. But here, let me put this in wide angle. No, not, there we go. That's gonna show better. All right, sorry guys, this is the first time I do this a tutorial like this with my camera. And all right, so when you are gonna do fungicide spraying, spray the whole plant, because you still have to spray the what do you call it? You have to spray the leaves. So just go ahead and spray it with water. Make sure you saturate it well. It's kind of weird doing this, filming and doing this. I don't know how Blanca does it. She's used to doing it. All right, so I don't want to wet my radio. And then I put here the ones that I know that don't need that much water. My cymbidiums. I just repotted this one. I bought this from Lady Vanda. It was in a tiny little pot. This is my zygopetalum that I got about 2-3 months ago. It's a beautiful, beautiful flower, but it shot a new growth there, and I moved her into this because that's how I have my other zygopetalums. See, and they do very well in there because they like a lot of water, but they do need drainage. So I used some sphagnum moss that I got from the orchid supply store, which I got to tell you guys, we'll talk about that later. I used it for the first time on all my phals that I had. Here, I'll show you. See my phals, how I have them on clay beads? Well, they are not growing as well as I like them to. All these were in the rehabilitation center inside my workshop. See, that's a cutting or a keiki. And so I put him in sphagnum moss. I'll just put an inset here. I put him in sphagnum moss, and guys, this sphagnum moss is amazing. I have never used it. This first time Ken sent it to me, and I've been using it. It's just very clean sphagnum moss, very fluffy, different from the, see, here's one that's been already in there for a while, but you'll see the difference when you have these like beautiful buds that keep so much moisture in there, but doesn't, stay oversaturated. And here, since we're already on that topic, let me just show you. I'm sure I added an inset already. This is the bag. I'm almost out actually, because I've been using a lot. I need to get more. But this is amazing, amazing sphagnum moss. Spag moss. I don't even know the actual name of this, because I guess that's just the name, spag moss. Well, I highly recommend it if you guys do order it from, it's premium New Zealand sphagnum moss, harvested from the pristine environment of New Zealand and southern west coast. So there you go, and that's what it looks like when it's dry. But if you do end up ordering a bag or two, use my discount code NatureNell at the orchid store, and you'll get an extra 12% off. Every little bit helps, especially now shipping has gone so expensive, even though shipping is free at the orchid store, but still the prices had to be adjusted because it's too much. I own a business, and I got to tell you, it's crazy what I'm paying now for supplies. All right, so I'm gonna stop it here because I don't need to show you anymore how I water them. And next segment will be me spraying with fungicide. All right, see you in a little bit. All right, so we're done watering all the plants. Now comes the mixing part. So make sure you have your gloves. Now with Physan 20, you don't need it to cover yourself so much. It's really, this is a very soapy substance. It has a weird smell, like almost like liquid soap in a way. It's really not that toxic as other, like when you use Captain Fungicide. This, I like to wear a mask. It's just, they're stronger fungicides, and I only use them in case of an emergency if I see that things have gotten out of control. I'm sorry, I'm like sweating. It's so hot today, and mosquitoes are running rampant. As I'm looking at the screen, they're flying all around there. So guys, with Physan 20, I do, get away mosquito, I do one, let me see if I can, that's 1 teaspoon. That's 2 teaspoons. All right, that's for 1 gallon. But this is a 2 gallon. So we're gonna give it another . It's soapy and it's slippery. That's why I wear gloves, because as careful as you may be, you'll get some on your fingers and you don't want that stuff in there. All right, now let me go get the hose. Now what I do is I take out the the sprayer, this, I take this out because since it's soapy, you don't want to create a lot of foam. So what I do is I slow fill the water. I normally do this in the ground, on the grass, but because for film's sake, we're doing it here too. All right. I'm gonna squeeze it a little bit so it doesn't, and I keep the hose, by the way, touching the bottom so it doesn't create more air bubbles, because the air bubbles will create more foam and you don't want that. Now this says it fills maximum up to here. You don't want to go, I sometimes let it go a little bit more, but you want to stay within where it tells you to fill it. And as soon as you start seeing it, I mean, normally in the ground it's easier because I just pull the, so I'm going to probably make a mess out of water. But it's okay, I water inside here all the time, so it doesn't matter. All right, so that's about, that was very tricky. Well, it wasn't so bad. All right, and that's it. You close it up. And I do have a fan running here because I got to tell you, if I didn't, I'll put it a little closer to me. It's a tiny little fan, but it's very effective. All right. Give it a couple of pumps. That's it. See you in the green room. All right, guys, let me grab a chair real quick. Okay, I sometimes do this. I use a chair because it's a little bit easier to spray. It's less force that it has to go to spray. So basically, this is all you do. Now, this is what I was saying about controlling. You see that flower? I don't want to hit it. I just want to hit the plant. See? So you have more control with this than with the hose. So if you're going to do a small space like this probably will work better if you have blooms, because you don't want to hit them with that. And also watering them helps protect the blooms a little bit. So this is as easy as it is. Now, if you do get some on the blooms, don't freak out. This is Physan 20. It's probably not going to do anything. It's just a good precaution, because I've learned that in the past with Captain Fungicide, I actually did damage this beautiful Reckham flowers. But Physan 20 is a lot lighter. But either way, I try not to spray if it's unnecessary. See? And it covers it beautifully. And what I like about Physan 20, since it's a soapy substance, it glides right down the leaves, so it covers everything. And do you guys know why they make it soapy? Because it acts as a catalyst to distribute the fungicide evenly throughout the leaves. The same goes for when you feed. There's I've spoken to some actual scientists or botanists who feed their plants with a couple of drops of palm olive liquid soap, and that helps the nutrients in the food distribute throughout the roots evenly. So that's something I've done before. I put like a quarter of liquid soap into this 2-gallon, and my plants fared well. They look really good. So it's a good idea to use it. So basically that is it. Now, if your plant has buds, I don't know if this is catching me because I have the phone flipped to the other side, so I don't know where the frame is. I have it on wide angle. If your plant is spiking with buds, you can spray over that. There's no problem with that. I just try to stay away when they're like this, already fully open, because they're more sensitive. But you know, don't worry if you do go over it. It's not the end of the world. All right, so I hope that the application here helps you guys with your own spraying. Because I know we overthink it, but really it's that easy. You know, you just have to do it. I know a lot of you have asked me, could you do one on fungicide? I did do one on pesticide or insecticide. I don't think I did one on fungicide. I don't remember. But anyways, that's how easy it is. You know, just make sure your plant is soaked thoroughly, because you don't want any spots to stay without the fungicide, because you can have fungus growing there, and then it just defeats the purpose. And by the way, I use Physan 20 as a preventive mostly. I only use the very strong stuff when things go out of control, like when there's excessive rain day and night. Then we have to do it, because I start noticing, like, my vandas now are starting to get the spots. That means that I'm going to try Physan 20, but if it doesn't work, I'm going to do it for every 4 days and see how that works. But if it doesn't, I may have to hit it with the Captain Fungicide. Now, when you do use any of these products, I always spray everything with water to clean everything in my area. Even though I'm very careful, it's good habit to just spray everything with water. Make sure you leave everything super clean and without anything, especially if you have pets. Okay, you have to keep everything clean. I've been doing this for years and years and years, and never an incident. Actually, the animals here are more dangerous, the frogs and the toads, to the pets than anything that I use. So just keep in mind that when you use any of these products, you wash your area thoroughly, the ground, everything. Even the grass, I always water everything. Water's great. All right, see you on the other side. All right, everyone. So I have finally finished spraying all the orchids. It takes me about 2 hours from beginning to end. That's from prepping, getting all the stuff ready, spraying, and then cleaning up. When you're done spraying, your space should look like this. Okay, make sure everything is rinsed out properly. Don't leave any containers, like I don't leave any containers here. Only this one, because this one has to have a container with distilled water, RO water. I can't put regular water on this, that's a pitcher plant. But I don't leave containers or anything. If you do have containers and you have pets, trust me, they will go and drink there. Years ago, I noticed that and I took them all out because they're not safe. So as you can see, everything has been sprayed, but everything around it looks clean, washed, rinsed. And I'm showing you all this because I know that in the past I haven't shown you the after you spray, what you should do. And I think this is just as important, because a lot of people, you know, you assume that people would know that, but some people will probably just spray and just call it a day. But you shouldn't. You should rinse everything. I'm heavy on rinsing. We have well water. We don't pay for our water here, and the water just recycles. It goes back down to the water system, to the well. So we don't really waste it. So I use a lot here, and I'm always like, this is why we do concrete floors, so we can just wash everything out with the hose thoroughly and keep everything clean. All right, and by the way, the Physan 20, for you guys that want to start using it for fungicide, I get this at OFE's Orchid and Supplies. And I think they have a bigger bottle than this one. But this is great stuff. It really isn't as dangerous as the other stuff that I have here. And like I said, this stuff is like worst case scenario. I hardly ever have to use it. I usually just use Physan 20. And as far as my feeding, I use 20-20-20 since you guys have asked. I use this. And I use Bloom Booster or Bloom Boost once a month. I also use potassium and Epsom salt, which has magnesium, and that helps your leaves come right back. So if you guys live in Florida, this weekend specifically, we are at first week of June. So this weekend, this first weekend of June, they're forecasting a huge tropical storm. So if you have your plants outside and you're going to keep them outside, make sure you spray them. I like to do it before and after. So I sprayed them today. I'm going to spray them again probably Saturday if it's not raining. And then I'll do it again like on Wednesday. because when it rains like that here, oh my God, everything is so soppy wet and it stays wet for a long time. So it's always good to spray to prevent. As you can see, my leaves are, with all the rains we've had, my leaves are very green. That's why my catchphrase is always keep it green, because that's what it all boils down to. You know, if you ask me, what does it all boil down to? As far as growing plants, you got to keep them green, because that's a sign of health. So that's it. That's it for the spring. I'm not going to make it too long, but I'm just showing you around so you can see how I keep everything. Oh, and by the way, Ken from the Orchid Supply Store, if you're watching, do you remember this piece you sent me? It looked like an N. I don't know. Well, I thought outside the box and I decided to do something like that, but more organic. So I put this trichocentrum that blooms beautiful every year, and it shoots out a very long stem. And I just thought this looked very cool. If I put it on one of these long hangers, it just looks very modern. So maybe I'll do a couple, you know what? I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna do one on hanging these. See, I already have it set here. As I promised you guys, the Firefox, I was gonna do a video. So I found a piece of wood. I love this piece of wood. This is also from the Orchid Supply Store. Look how gorgeous this is. I mean, I can't wait to put these in here. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? That is like the perfect piece of wood, and it already comes pre-drilled, so it's super easy to attach. So stay tuned for that video. I will be doing that video very soon. Maybe today later on, or tomorrow, or over the weekend. All we have is time now. All right, let me turn this around. You know what, guys? I talked about the sprayer that I got at Aldi's, but I really didn't show it to you guys. Let me show you. If you have an Aldi's near you, now it's a season, gardening season, and they usually have some really good stuff. And I got this sprayer because it has a retractable nose, and to me this is really good, because I'll show you how. I'm not going to spray now, but I bend it like this, and then I can reach behind this area. I don't have to go all the way back there and wet everything. Plus, it has an extender. This extends. Sorry that it's not focusing and I can't really, hold on, let me see if I can tap it. There we go. That extends to double the size, so you can reach really long areas. Now I use this, I'm gonna show you something. Look at the pressure on this. I'm sorry, guys. Oh man, this really sucks doing this like this. All right, hold on. Let me see. I mean, look how far this reaches. So I could get the top of this and never have to climb up there to water it. Because I know even Blanca has asked me, you know, how do I water my vandaliers? You know, those over there, which now I have them pretty low, but I usually keep them up there and I use this. But since I'm feeding and doing all my stuff, my routine, I keep them low. And you know what? It actually has helped a lot with the storms. I don't know, for it to be lower, I don't know. But anyways, I wanted to show you this mainly because this is a really good sprayer, and I think I paid $7.99 at Aldi's. And it has different functions. It has the shower, the flat, the mister. So you don't just get one function, see? Well, you would see if it focused. Oh my God, iPhone. You guys still got a lot of work to do on these cameras. So see, you get all these functions. Comb. It's pretty cool for $7.99. I mean, even if it breaks after a year of using it, you got your money's worth. I mean, I don't justify it. I wish it would never break, but all right, now I'm definitely going to close the channel. All right, everyone, we are done. I have melted away. It doesn't show it as much, but this shirt is drenched. Actually, it's so hot today and so humid, and it's so early, and it's like, it's already, the summer's coming in, and you know, with this new storm that they're saying that is gonna be hitting us around the corner, I'm gonna prep everything. But for now, I'm just going to keep an eye out and see what the storm is doing. Storm Alex, I think is the name. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this segment. I hope you learned something new, because there's always something new to learn. Even for myself, I'm always revising and doing new things to my regimen and my cycles of feeding and spraying, and being more aware of what we use around our house and all those things. You know, I every time I do a talk about fungicide, or I do a tutorial on pesticides or anything, I can't stress enough: protection, wear gear, clean your space, rinse it, and when you see it all clean and rinse, clean it and rinse it again, because it'll keep everything, you know, free from any chemicals or any danger. All right, guys, I will see you on the next episode. I want to thank you before I leave for all your beautiful comments in reference to Simba. You know, I'm processing this whole situation, and you know, funny enough, my neighbor's cat Morris, who you guys seen in previous videos, when Simba wasn't around, he would like kind of sneak in. He was really the originator of the greenhouse, and when Simba showed up, he kind of bullied him out. So he went back to my neighbors and never came back here. And the past 2 days, he's been in my yard. So we may have Morris now as our sidekick, which would be great, because he's actually the original sidekick. And but he's still weary. He comes and he looks around, and then he goes back. And now he's sleeping on the canopy of my porch. So I think he's gonna come back to be with us. So funny, the irony of life, right? So anyways, thank you guys so much for all your beautiful messages. I'm trying to get to everyone, but I haven't gotten. I will get to everyone, and if I don't get to everyone this week, for sure I will on the plane. I hope there's internet on the plane. I think there is. After a certain altitude, you can turn on your internet. I think that's what I was told. But anyways, I won't chat anymore, because it's supposed to be, it's already 5 minutes. So I will see you on the next video. Don't know yet what it is. It may be the tag video that I was tagged on, or it may be the how to do on the mounts. Okay, so I will see you next time. My name is Nelson. You're watching Nature Nell. I'm so chatty today. And remember to always keep it clean and green. See you next time. Oh my God.